Hey guys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach. It's going to be the round 19 pre-lockout discussion. We'll go through. There's some questions, there's some comments on the previous video. We'll go through first. Then I'll talk about. I'll discuss sort of what I'm doing. I don't think I've really changed my mind on what I said in the preview, but we'll have another quick squiz. We'll look at, again, sort of future trade plans. Although, again, I think that's pretty well laid out for me. And then we'll look at, I also like to look at sort of the most popular trade-ins and whatnot. And the other big thing I wanted to look at were the two biggest sort of positions, the biggest sort of question marks at the moment. And that is a second fullback for most people, and what halfbacks are we looking at for the run home? Because they're the two most pivotal potentially, especially fullbacks. Halfbacks, probably not so much now with Hines out. So, yeah, we'll talk about that. But what fullbacks are you going to run is definitely a very, very pivotal potential moment that could make or break your run home at the end. So let's first off, there's a few questions, a few comments. First one. Crazy Praying Mantis, just saying Gray is perfect. I do like Trindle and Gray. I am still leaning towards Gray. He does say he becomes enough, obviously, when Nrl comes back, and that's true. Obviously, Gray is my second 5'8", which again, you don't, as he says, you don't need a second gun 5'8", potentially. I wouldn't mind it. Obviously, Galvin can be a guy you could run till the end, but I guess the way the halves for me are set up, if this is the scenario, Wishart, I don't know. Wishart's an interesting one the more I look at it, right? Because Wishart, this is two factors, right? I actually think Harry Grant, if you're a Harry Grant owner, I would not be very optimistic for him on the run home, right? Because Wishart has been in such good form. Like, he's been incredible at 5'8", right? But obviously, when Munster comes back, he's obviously going to retake the 5'8" spot. That's a given. Wishart, he is fantastic at dummy half as well. I think it's terrible news for Grant, and I wouldn't be shocked to see Grant get more of a rest in the back end of the season and Wishart just play dummy half. Or second scenario is Wishart just goes as a number 14 and also gives Grant like a decent spell at hooker. So Wishart, he definitely is a trade, but you could wait a couple of weeks. You never know. Like, when Munster comes back, he could become like the starting dummy half and they give Grant a bit of a rest. If he's on the bench, obviously he's like, I think he still is my perfect trade to Nathan Cleary in round 20, either round 20 or 21. We'll see how I'm feeling. If I want to be ballsy, go early or wait for a cash drop. You probably hold Wishart for round 20 and then go round 21. So yeah, that's that. We bring Cleary in for Wishart, but then we have the choice of what do we do in our 5'8" spot. Obviously, we can swing Gray back up to halfback and trade him to another halfback if possible, bring Brown back to 5'8", or do we trade Gray to another 5'8"? We'll talk more about the halves and whatnot after questions and a few other things. But yeah, it's an interesting point. I'm not sure if you want to have enough in your halves. You definitely could, especially because I'm going to have like such a stacked second row forward. I'm going to have legitimately like 6 genuine guns second row forwards for the run home, probably, unless something crazy happens. So yeah, you definitely could have enough in your second row. I don't mind that. Thomas asks, should I trade Nrl for Turbo or Gutho? Angus also answered this saying definitely Turbo. I do agree, definitely Turbo. I know the trade this week is obviously nice. You could, depending on how many trades you have left, I would be a little nervous about... I'm still nervous about getting Turbo in. I definitely wouldn't go Gutho, honestly. The Eels have a really tough run home. They do play this week, which is nice. And without Moses, Gutho does like to get involved a lot more. But then they have a bye in round 20. So you're really only getting 1 out of 2 games for that trade. I don't think it's really worth it. If you... I do like the punt of going turbo early, yes, but obviously keep an eye on late mail to see if there's a late switch. I'm still not going to be shocked if Turbo ends up playing center, Hopewadi goes to fullback, and Tommy Taleo goes to the wing. Like, it sort of makes sense that that's going to happen, so just keep an eye. If Turbo goes back to center, I definitely would just hold the trade and just wait until round 20 to decide if you want to bring in like Ponga or somebody else. Well, again, we'll talk more about the fullback options later, but I would either, if Turbo is going to play fullback, I still love the pod and the risky play of getting him. If he's shifted back to center before the game, definitely don't trade to him and just hold the trade this week. Obviously, you might be a player down in this buy, but I think long term, that's the better option. Paycheck says Jed Cartwright is going to Super League. I saw that. I'm like, really? I thought he did play a couple of games early, didn't he? But yeah, apparently he's gone to Super League, which, I mean, fair enough. He's always a pretty okay, like, backup player, but fair enough. I guess if you do want enough out to him, he is a good dual center, second row forward. I don't think he's bottom dollar, which is annoying, but he's still like a decent little enough option, I guess, at that point. Queenslander, have you thought about Aitken for Kohler, which would open up flexible dual exchange with Fermor? I saw this and I was like, you know what, that is handy for sure, like having the option to switch on the fly and having Fermor and then Aitken in your second, your center wing. I do like the option, but honestly, getting an Olaquatu instead of Aitken is just, I think it's a way higher upside play. And I think he's cheaper than Aitken as well. I still think Aitken, from memory, is like 650. Like, not too crazy, but I still much like, I do like that option. But honestly, getting Olaquatu in for Kohler and swing your Fermor down to center wing, I think is, personally for me, I think that's the better option. Swift, Cartwright as a whole, because he'll be a big impact player of coming off the bench. Yeah, I mean, I am going to hold Cartwright this week. I don't love it. I mean, yeah, again, like, he came off the bench a few weeks ago. He banged out nearly 80 points offloading. I do think, as long as he gets good minutes, the Titans are a team he can definitely get the arm free and get some attack going. So, hopefully he plays like 60 minutes, man. If he doesn't, I'm going to be frustrated. But it is what it is. I think Cardi is definitely potentially on the chopping block in the next couple of weeks. If he stays on the bench, like, obviously if he gets the starting spot back, you can definitely just hold him. But if he stays on the bench, I think Cardi to Crichton next week or the week after, I think is still a good play. That pretty much wraps it up. Connor does say more like Braden Trapdell, which I do sort of agree with. That's why I am leaning towards Gray, just because Trindle, I still feel pretty good about it. Like, honestly, if you're in a similar position to me and you don't want to go Gray, I still like Trindle. Actually, I did miss one here. Sad Supercoach does say, I'm thinking of doing Trindle as well. Just going with his gut, playing him as a second halfback or 5'8" with Nico out. Other trade, Berber to Olaquatu. Yeah, that's sensational. Definitely do that. I do believe Cartwright is a hold as well. Yeah, definitely hold this week. My vice captain is Kinney and C is Garrick. Okay, so Kinney is definitely, I love the Kinney vice captain. I mean, if he plays the full game, like, he's just a guy that's going to rack up points. Like, just the tackle buster runs, he's going to get like 60 plus just in like runs and tackle busts. So I love the Kinney vice captain. I guess he's also a potential trade for a fullback option. We'll talk about him. I don't particularly like it, but if you've got him in your team, absolutely. I love it as vice captain. But yeah, Trindle, like I said, I do think he can be like a very genuine second halfback or 5'8", and I think he can go pretty well. Like, I can just see him being Nico Hines, like, of previous years. Not the scoring capability, but just being like everywhere. Like he's a guy that loves getting his hands on the footy. Atkinson is very much just sit back and wait for things to happen, which works well. And Trindle's just going to be involved. He's got the goal kicking. The Sharks do have a great draw, so I do like the Trindle play. I think I'm still leaning towards Gray, but I do like Trindle. I actually do really like the Trindle pickup as a bit of a smoky, bit of a pod, good downgrade option as well. But let's talk about, what else did I say? Well, I guess, yeah, my plan is still, I haven't deviated. I mean, Kola to Olaquatu, 100% locked in. I think that is great. I actually like the more I look at it, I like Fermel being in the center wing as well. You could trade him out at some point as well for a higher upside guy, but just having that safety play in your center wing if needed is still very nice. He's a good number this week as well. The big one, obviously, is are we going Gray or Brain Trindle? If Trindle didn't have a bye next week, it would be hard not to go Trindle, I gotta be honest. But the Rabbits, they've got a good little draw while Gray is fullback. Like Dolphins in round 19, it's not potentially the easiest game. I don't know. Dolphins are a fucking weird team. Like they can come out firing, they come out terribly. We'll see what Dolphins turn up. And then the Tigers in 20, Raiders, pretty good, but it is GIO. It's not the easiest matchup. And then Sharks, it's a pretty good run. And then Storm, Tigers, Knights. I mean, Latrell Mitchell, you would assume would be back either by Storm or Tigers. So you got Gray for about a month. Trindle, I mean, the Sharks, they do have a great draw. They really do have a good draw. Obviously, playing this round is very nice against the Tigers. Could be a high-scoring game. Buying 20, which is a little bit... I do have the numbers to cover, so it's not necessarily like a big issue for me, but it is still a factor. Cowboys, Rabbits, Titans, Newcastle Dragons. Fuck, it's a good... I'm honestly so torn on Trindle or Gray. I am very torn. I think the way... the way I worked it out about getting... Yeah, I think we do go Gray still. I do think we go Gray because the way I worked it out in the last video, going Sharp up to a gun fullback, going Wishart to Cleary, going Cardi or Pierce Paul to Crichton. If I get in Gray, I can do those 3 trades without having to make any more money. Like I can go bang, bang, bang straight to 3 big guns, and then we can obviously make more money with the Nuff in the front row forward, and then upgrade Gray if needed, or we upgrade a center wing, or a front row or a dummy half. Yeah, you know what? I'm just going to go with the gut on Gray. It is annoying because I like them both. I do like Trindle, but I'm going to go with Gray. It also, the other little factor, but also is a big factor, is that if I don't go Gray, I'm not going to... Well, no, I got Gagai. I was going to say I don't have any players in this first game, but yeah, I'm still going to go... I'm going to have... In the Sharks-Tigers, I'll have Iro, Nikora, Fainu, and Galvin. So there's too many players in one game. I don't know. That weighs a factor. So I like to have a couple of players in a game, you know. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to mix it up, and I like the punt on Gray. I think he can score well as well. I think he's probably is he more probably solid than Trindle? I don't know. I mean, I can see Trindle doing well, but yeah, we'll go with Gray. I'm happy to take that punt on Gray. So that is still what we're looking at. Let's have a look at the most traded. It's not going to be too crazy. Pretty stock standard. So, Olaquatu. How was so many people had it? They must have Plath. Yeah, because Plath is dual 5'8", so they must be swinging like Brown. Plath up to second row, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, Hines to Olaquatu, nice. Hines to Campbell. I don't know. Like, Campbell... maybe he does go massive again. I just think you've missed out on his big score. I don't love it. I mean, let's have a look at Campbell. He's expensive too now, isn't he? Probably not. He's probably not that expensive. Yeah, I mean, he's still only 600. Tick over 600. It's not too bad, but negative 44 break even. The Titans obviously played this game against Parramatta. I mean, Parramatta's defense has been poor, so could be a high scoring game again for Campbell. Manly, Dolphins, Bronx, Sharks. It is a pretty good draw for the Titans. Campbell, I don't know. The fact you've already missed out on his big score. Oh my god, the UI still gets stuff with this sometimes. But the fact you've already missed out on his big score. I mean, granted, he's been really good since coming back. 75, 77, 170. I mean, the 170, it is a bit of an anomaly. Let's be real. But he's been very good since back. I mean, it's just the fact Brimson is on the bench. Just the risk of Brimson slotting into the half and Campbell going to the bench. Because Campbell can look really good Supercoach-wise, but if the Titans are leaking points or he's not really doing his job as a 5'8", things could switch around. I think if you've got trades to play with, yeah, I don't mind the Campbell play if you then have to swing him off in a week or two, but I don't know. I don't particularly like the Campbell play this week, but I could be. I mean, again, in the bye round, if Campbell comes out and gets like 150 again, you're going to have an incredible bye week. So it relies on that. Cody Walker in for Hines. I mean, yeah. Again, we'll save a bit of that for the halves discussion. Again, I said it before, when Latrell Mitchell is out, I don't love Cody Walker. He just gets so many free points from dishing off to Latrell. He can still create on his own, obviously, but I do think his ceiling is definitely it's lowered without Latrell. He probably will have the goal kicking without Latrell. Which I don't know, I sort of think it's pretty neutral, because I think he obviously any easy kicks he'll get, but the Rabbitohs do score a lot of tries on the wing. Like they score a lot of tries out wide, so Walker, he's not the best sharpshooter, so I can see him missing a couple, getting a couple. I think a bit of a slight net positive. Benny Trbojevic to Olakwatu, love it. Smithies to Olakwatu, yes. Sam Hughes, Mitchell, Olakwatu, bit of flipping there. Harry Grant to Coruscant. Now, I actually don't mind the trade of Harry Grant. Like I just said, I think Harry Grant is going to be a no-go even after Origin. Like I said, with Wishart being in such great form, he 100% is going to stay in that team. Like at 14, unless they rest. I can see them resting Grant more and giving Wishart the dummy half spot. Or if he's on the bench at 14, he's definitely going to play some decent minutes. I mean, you never know. Maybe they still play Grant big minutes and Wishart plays more of a lock role. But the Storm are flying. Like they're not like leading the comp and smoking it, but they don't have to risk Grant. He's carrying a bit of a sternum niggle. I don't know if it's as bad as they talked or if it's worse than they said, but he's carrying a bit of a niggle. He's been beaten and busted a little bit this year, so I don't love the Grant hold. Would I go to Coruscant? Yeah, I don't mind the Coruscant. If you're going Grant to Coruscant, I don't mind it. Coruscant plays this week, so it is a good trade. I still love Connor Watson. Obviously, he's on a bye this week, Origin anyway. So if you got enough numbers, I love just holding off and trading Grant. But at that point, do you trade Grant? Probably not, if he's going to be playing the backup. If he misses the backup, then I do love like going to Connor Watson. But yeah, I guess it's either Appy Coruscant or wait on Connor Watson. So yeah, it's a tricky one. I don't hate trading Harry Grant though. Hines to Jai Gray. Okay, so yeah, 585 people, 0.5%. Not a lot, but there are people doing it. And then Joey Manu to Will Price. I don't love the Will Price play because they have to say Gamble. I think Gamble's back pretty soon. And I don't know. I mean, Will Price has looked really good, but if he just has a bit of a poor game, I can see them going back to Gamble just for a bit of solidity defensively and whatnot. I don't know if I agree with it, but I can definitely see it happening. Top 1%. So here, Hines, Olikwatu, Mitchell. I mean, 3% are going Hines to Campbell. They're going for that upside play. In the top 1%, okay, so the top 1%, there are, 2% going to Gray. Benny, Chwoyevich, Olikwatu. Pierce Paul to Olikwatu. I've seen a bit of that. I mean, again, if you're not like me and you don't have like a Kohler to go straight to Olikwatu or somebody else that's not playing, yes, Kai Pierce Paul to Olikwatu, I probably do agree with. But for me, I don't have to do it, so I'm going to hold Pierce Paul, and hopefully he can actually jag a try and make those people pay. But yeah, for me, I would hold. But for other people that you don't have like an obvious trade out, I don't mind it. I don't mind the Pierce Paul to Olikwatu. Sam Hughes, obviously great. Morgan Smithy's great. Oh, everyone's getting it. Also, Tommy. Nico Hines to Tommy. A few people are picking up Trebojevic, taking a bit of a punt. Risky, but I like it. Again, I mean, the other thing I didn't talk about was if my vice captain goes poorly, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going. When they play the last game, Sunday Arvey, I don't know. I can just see myself stacking on Captain Garrick and not bringing in Tommy this week. We'll talk about, okay, well, it's a good segue. Let's talk about the fullback options for the run home. So I think it's easy for one position. Everybody should have James Tedesco, I think. I mean, honestly, if you don't, he's very expensive. He's going to be tough to bring in, but I think Tedesco, he's back to it. Is he better than what he was at the moment? Like, it probably is. Like, he's going crazy. He's going to be safe as houses. He didn't play. Well, he played the first game of Origin, but not the second. So he's going to be pretty fresh coming into the back end of the year. It's a pretty good draw for the Roosters. He's a captain every week potentially. So I think Tedesco is your one lock and load, one fullback spot. The second spot, this is where it gets tricky. So Drinkwater. I mean, he's been still really good. Like, obviously, I traded him out, so I'm not going back to him. The draw is tough, but they do play most of their games in Queensland. So they missed this game, obviously, but then Bulldogs, Sharks, Tigers, Bronx, Canberra, Melbourne, Bulldogs. It's okay. It's like up and down a bit. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those games are at Queensland Country Bank Stadium, which is great for Drinky. The final game against the Doggies, that is interesting. I mean, I don't think the Cowboys are going to rest players. The Dogs probably don't either. I know the Cowboys in the past have had like Panthers in the last game, and they get to play a very understrength Penrith side. The Doggies... Surely the Doggies haven't been in the fight for a long time. They aren't going to rest players. Like, they need to finish as high as possible. Surely they come out with their full side, right? Like, I wouldn't expect restings for the Dogs. So that's going to be a tough last couple of games. I don't love Drinkwater. Dylan Edwards. I don't love Edwards. I think you've missed the boat. You've missed the boat when Cleary was out. Cleary's coming back soon. Edwards, he's already started to regress a little bit from the highs. Like, he was absolutely killing it, but then 69, 63. And then, yeah, it's a pretty good draw for the Panthers. Like, no games are, like, terrible for Penrith. But Cleary back, he'll probably take the goal kicking unless... I mean, surely the Hemi's good. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but... And then the last game of the round, I mean, Edwards, I think he's a very... I would be shocked if he's not rested, even after round 20, but probably in round 27 against the Titans he gets rested, so don't like Edwards. Ruben Garrick sent to wing. Latrell Mitchell, obviously he's out injured for a month. I don't... if you got like a luxury trade, when do they say he's back? Round 23, they reckon... Yeah, it's tough. I was going to say, do you take like a punt if you got like a trade up your sleeve, like go Mitchell for the last month? But Tigers is good, Newcastle good, but then Penrith are 26. They should be pretty full strength. And then Roosters, the grudge match, I wouldn't. Yeah, no. Mitchell, I don't think as a pod play in the last month is great either. Obviously, no Meaney, no Buller, no Tommy Trbojevic. So I mean, Tommy is obviously very appealing. Very, very appealing. I mean, even when he was like struggling at the start of the year, 81, 54, 86, 55, 111, 82, 86, 55, 92, 76, and then his game back in the centres. Bit of a, that doesn't really equate to much, but he was going pretty well. They got a really, again, it's hard. It's really hard to look past Tommy. Playing 19 if he is fullback, and then 20 against the Titans. It's a pretty good draw. It's hard to look past Tommy, honestly. I mean, I think we'll just go by highest price, actually, because the points are a bit miffed. I think it's out of Ponga. For me, Ponga, Trbojevic, Walsh is a bit of I can't believe 10% still own Walsh. There's probably a lot of people that sort of give up on Supercoach, I'm expecting. But Walsh is a pod. Kinney, I just don't particularly like Kinney. He could continue to go massive, so I just can't go there. Pappenhausen, honestly, I think I'm ruling out Pappenhausen as well. He did look a lot better last game, for sure. He looked a lot quicker. He looked just on the ball. It was against the Tigers, though. Let's be honest. It was against the Tigers. Not goal kicking. Does he get the goal kicking back? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Obviously, Wishart's been kicking. Not the best kicker in the game. So the fact Pappenhausen's not kicking when they're missing a few, not great. And then Meaney, you would expect to come back. It's a pretty tough run. Like 20 Roosters, Parramatta, Dragons, not too bad. South, Panthers, Dolphins, Cowboys, Bronx. It's okay, but I just don't love Pappenhausen this year. I just think there's just too many question marks. If you took a punt on him early, I definitely hold, but I think there's better options coming up. I wouldn't be going Campbell unless 5'8", and then nothing else down here. So it's, for me, Walsh, Ponga, Trbojevic. And it's tough. They're all similar price. Like Ponga, obviously if you're waiting on Ponga, he's got a huge break even. So Origin this week, and then round 20, Ponga is I'm just thinking, who was like a great it's a bit dicey, but because Ponga, you would wait like 3 weeks, right? He misses this game. The Broncos in the backup it's not too bad, honestly. Like I wouldn't expect him to play massive minutes in Origin, so he probably should back up. Then it's a bye, then it's Penrith, so it's a really bad like 4 weeks for Ponga. He'll lose a stack of money, so you don't really want to bring him back in Broncos. But then the run home, Tigers, Sharks, South, Gold Coast, Dolphins. Who is like a... But can you run without a second gun fullback for like 4 weeks? Oh man. I don't know. If you look at Walsh obviously Origin this game, then the backup against Newcastle. I don't know. Like, the Broncos need to win, but they did rest them all in after the second Origin, so I'd just expect him to not play round 20. So again, you're going to be waiting a couple of weeks on Walsh. Then Bulldogs, Titans, Cowboys, Para, Dolphins, Melbourne. Again, I like Walsh, but yeah, I think if you're going to do that, I think just waiting for Ponga's the better play. So if you're going to go early, it's definitely Tommy Trbojevic. God, it's hard, the fucking second fullback spot. But is there anyone you would want to pick up for like 3 weeks? You know what? Oh, you know what? So my team... Oh, you know what I could do? So, obviously, I've got Jai Gray and I've got Sharp. So, if I... No, what was I thinking? Yeah, that could still work. So, if I go Sharp, I don't trade Sharp this week. This all relies on if I don't go to Tommy straight up, which I'm still half tempted by, just with having to wait so long for Ponga. And Walsh, I'm not overly that keen on, and then anyone else, not that keen on. So Sharp hopefully makes like 50k. If he gets like 400, that'd be great if he has a big game. Jai Gray, then we swing down to fullback and we trade Sharp. We trade Sharp to a 5'8". Maybe Burden, but we trade him to a 5'8", and then Jai Gray plays the next 3 weeks to a month. Then it's perfect to trade Jai Gray to Kalen Ponga after that pretty tricky month of footy. That sounds nice. Obviously, planning for that 4-week play is a little bit dicey, but I think unless you're going Tommy Trbojevic this week, I think that's what you probably do, right? And there definitely are some pretty okay 5'8" options. Or we could get in a halfback. Yeah, either a halfback or a 5'8". So this is a great segue. I'm not even planning it, but it's a great segue now to talk about the halfback and 5'8" spot. So, yeah, we can obviously grade down to fullback, Sharp up, and then... Yeah, we can probably swing Brown or Wishart down to 5'8" and a half. Yeah, so we can probably... Yeah, we can definitely do that. We can either get in a halfback or a 5'8". So let's have a look. And again, we're going to have money. We're going to have money to spare. And then holding off on the fullback, we're not going to have 600k straight off the rip for Ponga or Turbo. So if we go halfbacks and 5'8". So obviously Cleary, that's what... You could go Cleary straight away for Sharp and then hold Wishart. Or you could still trade Wishart after a week to Cleary if you want to just wait, because Cleary comes back. Who is it against? It's against a pretty bottom team, I think. Yeah, it's the fucking Dolphins, bro. It's a pretty juicy matchup. And then he's got Dragons, Newcastle, Para, Storm. It's a good run for the Panthers, honestly. He obviously has a monster, 180. I was going to say, is it big? No, it is big. It's 180 break even. So, the money is the money. If you don't need the money, you don't have to wait. But I guess the good thing is that you wait to see if he's goal kicking, if he looks fit, and then also he does also drop a lot of cash. So it does make sense to wait. But if we aren't going to go Sharp straight to a 5'8" or a halfback next week, and then swing Jai Gray to fullback, who would we want to bring in? Sammy Walker. I don't really love the Sam Walker play. Again, I think you've missed. He played the first couple of buys. He was very good for those. Scored well, but he just at 50, 50, 60. He's got Melbourne 20. Manly, it's not a bad little draw, but don't love Walker. He just, the Roosters can kill it and Walker still only go 60 to 70. Even if he gets 2 or 3 try assists, he just has no base. He doesn't make any runs, really. He makes a few tackles, but he misses a lot. Cameron Munster, he's out for a bit longer, obviously. Mitchy Moses. Do you take a bit of a pod on a Moses? Obviously misses this game. No, he doesn't play 20. That's right. He's got a buy in 20. So no, I wouldn't go Moses then. It's a pretty tough run. Benny Hunt, no. Campbell, nah. If you're not going this week, I think Campbell is a bit of a long-term misstep. Cody Walker, again, I don't think after this week, I don't love Cody Walker. Daily Cherry Evans. He does go on runs, Cherry Evans. But he won't have the goal kicking. Obviously, Garrick's not out or anything, so he doesn't get that. Max Plass, still solid, but no. I mean, the guy here, Matt Burton. I mean, Matt Burton's probably the guy I'd be, like, very tempted by. Anybody else? Anybody else down the list? I mean, you still have Trindle. I mean, I don't know. If Trindle comes out and absolutely kills it this week, you could go to Trindle still. Like, he's not going to be that expensive. He's got a 38 break even. If he looks really good, don't hate. He's got a buy in 20 though. That's right. He's got a buy in 20. Honestly, yeah, it's really just Matty Burton, I think, that I'd probably want. And yeah, he's got obviously not playing this game, 42 break even. He's been pretty good, obviously on the bit of a decline with a couple of low scores in and amongst there. So he's pretty damn cheap, coming off a couple of decent ones. It's a pretty good draw for the doggies. I mean, yeah, it's pretty good, honestly. It all comes down to, do I want to do that, though? I mean, it's just a matter of, like, that's the thing, if you don't... I mean, I guess if you don't go Trbojevic this week, you could still just go to Trbojevic next week if he's looking pretty good. So you don't necessarily have to do the tricky play of what I was saying just there. But it does seem nice on paper. Like, it works out perfectly for Jai Gray to make money and then be a trade out. So that's the one, I guess, conundrum for me. But yeah, I guess it's a wait and see. It's a wait and see if I want to take the punt on Tommy this week, or if we just hold off this week and then just wait to see what Tommy look like. If you look great, if you did play fullback, you definitely bring him in round 20 because they're playing the Titans at 4 Points Park. So yeah, Tommy could be a very good play next week as well. So you don't have to be funny with it. Yeah, don't mind that. But yeah, there's a couple options there for us, and then yeah, like I said, the future plans still Angus Crichton pretty much straight in, probably round 21, because surely he gets arrested in round 20. Yeah, I think unless I use the boost this week for Tommy, we do have 2 boosts left. Like I keep saying, I want to save 1 boost and 3 trades for the last round of the season. The other boost potentially is a waste, but we could use it around 21 if we want to go Crichton, Cleary, and somebody else in round 21. That could be a really good use of a boost. Round 20, again, surely Crichton gets rested in round 20, or hopefully just gets some reduced minutes. That'd be nice. Cleary, you probably just wait a week. Yeah, just the way things are gone, I don't want to go early on Cleary. I mean, the Storm play the Roosters. It's a pretty tough game for Wishart, but I don't hate it. It's not too... We got other options to play. That's fine. And then what else are we looking at doing? So the big guns, a fullback, a halfback, a second row, and then it's a matter of working out if we're going to do anything dummy halves or not. Just let it rot. Just let it fucking rot like this. It is what it is. The front row, again, I think we're nothing one of these guys. And then, again, with a luxury trade, I would love to bring in like a Payne Haas is probably the ideal, but we don't have to. Back row will be pretty much lock and load at that point. I don't think we're going to have to trade any more back rowers, unless, obviously, injuries. Again, 1 halfback, and then 5'8", again, depending how we swing things, unless we do it like the fancy way or whatnot, we definitely could upgrade Gray to somebody, or just have him as enough. It is what it is. Our fullbacks will be set, and then centre wingers, I mean, again, that's your spot for like a pod play, I think. I think Gagai to... Yeah, like I said, Gagai to a pod play of like an I mean, I don't know, Isaac Tungo, someone like that after round 20 or round 20, I don't dislike. So, yeah, we're looking pretty good. And then, yeah, just make sure we save 3 trades because it could be huge. It could be huge if we are able to save those 3 trades and a boost for the final round. I think that, I mean, that is our one real condition to try and get a big little jump at the very end of the season. It's not bound, like, it doesn't mean it's going to work out in our favor, but I think if there is one way to get a good jump, that is one way to do it. Especially with our depth in the team, we should be pretty good. Even if there are a couple of injuries, we don't have to trade out straight away. It should be fine. Unless, like, obviously, if a gun fullback goes down, you have to trade. If Robson gets injured, yeah, we'll trade our dummy half. But we do have a couple of flex trades over the back end of the season to use. So I think that's looking pretty good. I don't mind it at all. And yeah, the big question mark for me, I think it's out of Tommy and Kalen Ponga, both coming back from long-term injuries. So it's but I don't know, I just don't like any other fullbacks, man. I just don't particularly like the other fullback options, really. The Pod Kinney is still nice, but I wouldn't be bringing in now. Yeah, it's a tough one. I don't love Edwards. With Cleary coming back, I mean, he could still be a really rock-solid play, but I still think missing a couple of games in the back end could be on the cards for Dylan Edwards, especially playing Origin this year. So yeah, I think that's where we're looking. I think that'll pretty much wrap up the pre-lockout. Hopefully we go well. Still leaning Fafita vice captain, Garrett captain. Please, Fafita, just go big. Like, just go big. That would be lovely. Then I don't have to really worry about potentially bringing in Tommy. And then I can lock in a pretty good score this week because I can't afford to get another shit captain, bro. It can't happen. And the last time I captained Garrick, it did not work out too well. He copped 2 head knocks and got like 10 points. So please, Fafita, just make him pay, for the love of God. But that pretty much wraps it up. Hopefully, guys have a good week. Hopefully, you guys enjoy the content. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.